Ladies and gentlemen of Ballet International, today we have a new guest. Let me tell you his name. I hope I am pronouncing correctly. It's Zander Naude. He is from South Africa. He is working in Pretoria and he is doing wonderful work at the State Theatre of Pretoria. So it is a great chance to have such a young ballet teacher who is passing on his experience and his know-how to the young community of South Africa. Good evening, Mr. Naude. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, and I'm very pleased to have you online, and it's a privilege to have you on an interview today. So,
Yes, thank you for having me.
Mr. Naude, how did you start dance?
Wow. I think I was 6 years old when I started obviously showing interest in the athletic sport of dance.
Yes,
And eventually my father and my stepmother, they put
yes,
me in a small ballet class.
yes,
And yeah, it just evolved into more ballet classes and more ballet classes.
yes,
And eventually, I joined a school in Pretoria
yes.
called the Russian Ballet Academy.
Wow,
My teacher, her name was Slu Akim Girieva, um, from Senegal, if I'm correct. Senegal or um, yes, I think it's Senegal. I'm not sure. But she was a Russian speaking woman and she was trained in the Vagonova method.
good.
So that already drew my attention and I was like, yes, let's go for it. Um, she was very hardcore
Yes,
and I loved the fact that she was so passionate about dance. And obviously, here in South Africa, we don't have a lot of male dancers.
yes.
So I ended up being the only boy in her school. And she mentored me and she trained me and um, yeah, she coached me. Eventually, at the age of, I think I was 19, I started teaching with her in the classes to develop more skills and learn how to, um, yeah, work with young students. Actually, I wanted to do it to improve my own skills, and you know, that's just how it all started.
It's incredible. Is this ballet school still open, still working?
No, so I think it was 2010. Slew, she went back to another African country and
Yes.
she's now working in a theater. I'm not 100% sure. We lost contact because, yeah, I stayed at the State Theater and Slew went across to go and work in another theater. So, yeah, we do have each other on social media, but I haven't made contact ever since.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And how was her classes, her teaching classes?
Oh, they were amazing. So, thinking of, combinations and, her techniques that she brought all the way, because I think she worked at Marinsky Theatre
Yeah,
before she came to South Africa.
yeah,
I'm not sure where she worked before. Um, So she brought a lot of those skills and educational things with her and taught us. And yeah, I learned a lot of wonderful things from her,
Yes,
especially working with young kids
yes,
to develop their muscles properly, how to stretch correctly. Um, Even when I teach girls on point, I learned those skills from her and obviously from previous examinations that I did with
yeah,
the Russian ballet school.
yeah.
So, yeah,
And have you ever done any ballet classes with the Cecchetti method?
I have. So, back in like just before COVID, I joined South African Johannesburg Theatre,
Yes,
which was always SABT, but
yes,
now it's Joburg Ballet.
yes.
So Chase Boss, he's in the Cicchetti method. So he took me in and we did intermediate phase. And yeah, so I have experienced Cicchetti as well. Although I prefer Vaganova, I love the turnout. I
Yeah,
love the extremeness of the Vaganova technique.
yes. Well, after all, the technique could be different from one to another, but the
Yeah,
important is the result that it gives on
that's
stage.
right.
And so you are continuing the legacy of your Russian teacher
Yes,
on the South African young community. So,
that's right.
uh, so now where is located your ballet studio? You are using the same ballet studio of the Russian school, or you're using another ballet studio for teaching?
So SLU used to um, hire out the state theater for rehearsals and obviously productions and showcases. So we would use the South African State Theatre's rehearsal spaces
Hmm.
for obviously rehearsals. And so, no, her studio was located in a small private little, um, she had this, excuse me, at the back of her yard, she
Yeah,
had a small studio set up.
yes,
So we would only use the theater for shows.
yes,
And through that, I've met people in the theater, other artists, and connected with them and started, you know, exposing myself a little bit more in the industry, not only dance, but theater, musical theater, all
yes,
kinds of productions,
yes,
and show my interest. And that's how I sort of met all these fascinating people.
yes,
And I ended up in the Pretoria State Theatre after speaking to the CEO,
yeah,
telling him my vision. Um, and the vision was always I want a school that I can teach not only ballet, but all forms of theatre um, to young students and bring the theatre to their lifestyle and introduce theatre back to our generation
yes,
and modernize it a little bit
yes,
um, with their own African styles and ballet and yes, just classical things while being modern.
yes. It's just a sort of mix of technique and style,
Yes,
which
of
is
course.
very useful for our modern days. Because I think that
Yes,
if someone keep always a pure classical repertoire, not many people will get the idea, will understand, and maybe they will not appreciate too much. Even if you put Giselle on stage, today in
yeah,
our modern days, the audience has changed, and maybe they won't be happy about a pure Giselle production.
Yeah,
It depends of the country and also of the culture of the country. Uh, mm, but mixing new type of choreographies, new, not always modern, you can also adapt something
yeah,
in between, you know, and that could help the society to grow up and to have a better approach
yeah.
to art. At least this is my opinion.
That's right.
Yeah. So you
No,
are
that's
working
exactly what I'm doing.
good.
Yeah, so
Very happy to
sorry,
hear.
I'm interrupting you now,
No, 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 no.
but when you were saying about culture, that's the different the uh it's exactly what's going on in South Africa right now, especially with our African culture.
Yes.
Many, 90% of them don't understand classical ballet repertoire. So if even if you go to schools, African schools here, they have no idea what ballet is,
Mm,
classical ballet.
yes.
They think any form of dance is ballet. So um, yeah, you're 100% correct.
So you are now using the ballet studios as headquarters of your teaching. So
Yeah,
uh, I think I must say something to the audience, to Ballet International people, that the State Theatre was before um, the main point, reference point of Pact Ballet, the Performing Art Council of Transvaal, which has disappeared with the years. And it was a beautiful company. Probably when the company was there, you were a tiny little baby, and that
yeah,
was something like 30 and more years ago. And it's one of the most beautiful theaters that I ever seen, with high technology and beautiful stage, and everything is really wonderful. So this is why the young community in South Africa must really understand the great value that they have today in coming and learning ballet with you at the State Theatre, because they must
that's
learn
right.
also the history of ballet, the South African history of ballet, how it was and how it is now, and how it can be developed in the future. Because I think that South Africa is a little bit forgotten in terms of art, but there are a lot of talents. I mean,
Mm,
when you have about 50, 60 students, of course, not all of them will succeed in ballet or in modern dance or whatever. Maybe on 60, you will have only 8,
that's right.
10, you see? So, what, how do you develop your class when you start giving the class? Do you do some stretching before? Do you do the go straight away at the bar? How do you develop? Because each teacher has his own way to develop that.
Method,
Yes,
yes. So I normally so my classes, I only have a certain time period
yes,
to teach my students.
yes,
So obviously my main classes are on a Saturday.
yes.
So it's a bit chaotic. The little ones, I split them up. So it's not your classical ballet class where I only do, you know, level one, level two, level
Yes,
three. Yes. So I go age groups. So
yeah,
between ages 4 and 6, they
yeah,
will start. Then I normally do warm up with them.
yes,
I do a little bit of bar,
yes,
center work, and then I put on the music and I start teaching them different styles of dance and incorporating ballet, contemporary.
mm,
We even go as far as bringing in African cultural dances. Um, and then I start with the bigger girls. they are a bit more advanced. Same thing, we start with warm up. For me, warm up is so important. That's when I actually help them develop their muscles properly and help them to stretch and proper warm up. And then we move to the bar. Then we focus on a little bit of technical work.
Yes.
Also, then I'll go to center work. I'll bring in some Allegro and then back to dancing. So
Mm.
choreography. Um, like now it's different. Last year I was only focusing on exam work.
Yes.
This year I'm focusing on performance. So I will be building two big shows this year.
Good.
So then my focus goes off classwork
Mm.
and into choreography.
Yes.
So even with the little ones, we'll still stick to the warm up and then go straight into choreography.
Good.
Um, yes.
Each class, how long is it? 1 hour?
No, so my poor kids, I drilled them. So the babies have 2.5 hour classes,
Yeah. The small one.
and then the small one, yes. So ages 4 to 6, 2.5 hours. So the first 45 minutes, I really focus on, and I must mention this also, but I'll do that now. The little ones, I focus that 45 minutes on technique and really warming them up properly,
Yes.
point work, all those little details, and then I'll go full on choreography with them.
Mhm.
So yes, it's a lot for the babies, but it builds it's like building blocks for them.
Yes.
It keeps them fit. So when we do perform, because when I do performances, they are going to be on that stage 3 times, 3 shows, and it's a lot. So they must build those building blocks to
Yeah.
get them strong and ready for the
So
year-end
they get
shows.
familiar with this, developing the strength and being used to go on
That's
stage.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
So then I also allow the higher levels to join the baby classes
yes,
to go over those baby steps if
yes,
they want
yes.
to also improve their um, all their stuff. So yeah, it's really my way, I'd say, because I only have a certain day and so many hours to work with them, I make it all count.
But during the other days of the week, they give you the permission to use the State Theatre Ballet Studio only once per week, or you can also if you need some more days.
I can, but my parents in South Africa, we have a heavy problem in the CBD in
Uh,
town
okay.
with traffic.
Uh,
Traffic is a big problem in South Africa.
really?
So and a lot of these kids only finish school around 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoons.
Yes.
Then most of the traffic starts in town.
Wow.
So it's a mission for these people to actually get access to the theater
Yeah.
and then get their kids back at home before 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. the night.
Wow.
And obviously, safety is another concern in our country.
Yes.
So you don't want people traveling alone at night with kids.
Yes.
So we had to take all of those things and
Into
figure it out.
consideration. Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
But during the week, I teach at other schools
Mm.
as an after school activity.
Yes.
So then at the end of the year, I would take all the schools I'm teaching at
Yes.
with the state theater kids and build one big show.
Ah, good. So
Yes.
you have the opportunity to work a little bit more with those kids.
Yes.
Yes. And how do the parents respond when you tell them, look, today instead of working 1 hour and a half, 2 hours, we are going to work a little bit more? How do they respond to that?
So this is our family joke in my school that the parents love dropping off the kids on a Saturday to go and have the me time.
Ah,
So they actually enjoy because my kids do drama classes as well with me. So I teach drama and performing arts after dance. Then most of these kids they stay after ballet
yeah,
for dramatic art classes,
yes,
which is impressive for me to have these little kids dedicate almost a full day to be at the theater, to learn to dance, to learn to perform, to learn about stage and acting. And so technically, you can say the whole day is dedicated to that class,
yes. Well, it's incredible
which,
how many things you do in one day. I mean,
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
it's incredible because I mean, it is rare to find a ballet teacher, not only ballet teacher, but just a teacher who knows all this type of
that's
discipline
right.
and can dedicate all his soul and all his strength to teach all those things that you are doing. I mean, you are lucky that you are
Yeah,
young, that you can handle all this situation, and this is very good. And the performance,
thank you so much.
what type of performance do you give? A little bit of everything? All these styles that you are teaching?
Yes, so I would take classical repertoires and then write my own ballets and my own productions.
Yes,
Like now, I'm busy. I don't want to give it out everything, but I am taking all our classical fairy tales and creating and writing my own story.
good.
I found a passion in writing scripts, monologues, and then I take that, I give it to my drama students, and we incorporate that to the ballet and the dance. And I just build a show around that then. And every year there's a different theme wherever my mind goes.
Yes,
You know, as an artist, our minds go anywhere we want it to go.
a very
And
elastic
working
mind.
with kids, yes, I think working with kids expands my mind so much because they bring their creativity to my world. When I was a young boy, my dad used to say, Zander, you're always in La La Land. Um, And now I get to build my own La La Land every year with my students.
Yes,
And it's amazing to see the end result.
yeah,
And then all the parents in my school, they always go, we don't know how you do it alone. You
yeah.
do everything alone.
Well, I think that all ballet dancers, all ballet artists, they need to drop themselves into the La La Land. They need to have a
Yeah,
La La Land. Because without a La La Land, you are not an artist.
no, not at all.
So you have three groups of students, let's say, I'm talking about the age, the little ones from
Yeah.
4 to 6, and the middle ones from 10, a little bit up, and the bigger one, how old they are, the advanced.
So the advanced goals, they grew with me as my school developed.
Yes,
So I don't normally take older than 11-year-olds
yes,
only because I prefer dancers to be a little bit more experienced by that
yes,
age.
yes,
But Many times I've come across people that, they have a child that's 11 or 12, sometimes 16 years old,
Yes.
that wants to start dancing, but they don't have any experience.
Mm.
Then I take them, but I would not put them in advanced classes.
Yes.
I will put them in that middle group
Middle
so that they
age.
can
Yes.
learn. That's right, the middle group to get back to basics first,
Yes.
get a bit of technique,
Yes.
strengthen them up, and then see in a few months, say around 6 months, how the child copes.
Yes.
And then I'll make a decision after that where to place the child.
Yes.
But in rare cases, I find much older girls coming to my studio. Most of the kids that join my studio start very young
Yeah.
and go
And
up
develop.
with me.
Yeah. And
Yes.
do you make any, how do I say, audition or examination to accept new students?
So I find when I was in ballet school, we
Yes.
did that.
Yes.
And the pressure was a lot
Yeah.
when you have to fix yourself up, get ready for an exam, get ready for a audition. Even here in my country, I went to a school of arts where I had to actually audition to get into the school.
Yes.
Um, and I remember that it was so much pressure for me. So when I opened my school, I said, no, I'm not going to be that teacher. The child can come and show me what they can do. But again, for me, I feel like it's an open space. If
Yes.
the child feels like she's an artist and she wants to express herself, then the room is open. Come and be yourself.
Yeah.
Uh, even if I have this personal joke, even if your point looks like chicken feet, I will fix it. We can work on it.
Yeah.
But to pressure a child in our age and in our time, if we go to the professional ballet schools, the pressure these kids are under, um, preparing not only for exams, but for competitions
Yeah.
and for work this is your industry, this is your livelihood.
Yeah.
So the pressure is on another level.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to create a space where the child feels pressurized.
Yes. There is a pressure, and there is also a big stress behind all this. Yes, a mental stress. Um, so, do you have boys who attend your classes?
Yes, I have
Good.
about 7 boys. All of them started the drama classes and ended up doing the ballet classes also because I convinced them and exposed them to the world of male dancers
Yes.
because they are not familiar with it.
Mm.
They, in our country, especially in our country, we have a lot of Afrikaners and cultural people
Yeah.
that do not understand ballet and think it's a more feminine
Yes.
um, sport.
Yes.
So after exposing it to them, I convinced them, and none of them have left. So I think I'm doing a good job.
That is good. That is good because also when it will come the time where you have to teach pas de deux,
That's right.
it is important to have
It's
boys.
so important.
Um, and for your performance, do you think your students would be able to make some pas de deux work?
For now, no, because the boys, all of them are 6, 7,
Mm.
8. Eight, the oldest boy. So they are still very young,
Mm.
and I was actually discussing with the parents this year. I want to have a only boy class
Yes,
because technically the work is different from
totally different. Totally
from
different.
girls.
Yes,
So I want to focus on that, but I had to wait for that
time,
uh,
over time.
time and enough students to actually be able to do a only boy class.
Yes. And also, a boy class will be much longer than the girls' class.
Yes,
Because if the
yeah,
girls' class is 2 hours, you do 2 hours and a half with all everything inside. Boys' class
that's
is
right.
going to be very tough, very
That's right.
complete because it's very athletic work.
There, a lot of jumps, a lot of, yeah,
Uh,
lots of work.
yes. And so, how is the State Theatre Administration responding to all your efforts, to all your work? I mean, are there any proposal to develop this on a academic and on a state level?
Look, I'm going to be honest with you. At this moment, I've been begging and pleading with them. Um, it's still a work in progress because our government does not support the arts system as other countries do. So yeah, it's another debate and another conversation and a really sad one. But we have a breakthrough this year. The country, or in South Africa, we have a lot of art festivals.
Yes,
So the theatre, they do their own festivals, and they have approached me this year to actually bring something to the table and to see, what they can help and do and how we can expose the learners. Yeah.
couldn't you find a way, a key to involve also private art organization to
Mm.
develop something that becomes a prestige for the new South Africa of today and tomorrow.
Yes. So I'm open to that. I think for a long time, when you have a business or a school or it's your baby, so you want to protect it. You
Yes,
wanna you wanna protect your students, because we all know the dance industry, the ballet world can be very competitive. So for me, it was always my baby. I want to keep them safe. I don't want to expose them to the ugly side of dance.
yes,
Um, but now I see with their techniques and their talents, I really want to expose them on a much higher. And yes, obviously, if I find people that are interested to
yes,
join me and help me grow the
yes,
school,
yes,
I'm open to that.
yes,
Yes. And we have actually last year, I got a lot of South African film actors and people in the industry to come and work with them
yes.
and really get them out there and exposed. And this year they want to work with us. So I'm excited to see where things are going to go.
Good. And what would be the reaction of the State Theatre if there could be um, to make a mix between South Africa organization and foreigner organization to develop the art of in South Africa?
I think they would highly appreciate that because um, there's not a lot of exposure at the moment and awareness that there are actually still a ballet school inside the theater.
Yes.
There is still programs, there is still um, theater happening in the theater.
Yes.
For a long time, I think after COVID, the theater it just slowly died out in South Africa.
Well,
Um,
it will start again. You know,
we
COVID.
hope so. We hope so.
COVID was a bad experience for everyone, but now
Yeah,
COVID is nearly finished because there are still cases of COVID. But
yeah.
I'm sure, I'm convinced that in South Africa, the art will never die.
No, it will never.
Never.
And I can see this now with the intake of my students. Every year it's just been growing and growing. And now I actually need help because it's growing so much
Mm,
that I can't manage it alone anymore.
yes.
Normally if you have a small ballet school, it's easy to coach, do exams, pull up a small performance, but my vision was bigger. I'm inside the theater. I need to expose these kids to the world of theater
Mm,
and use their talents inside the theater. So
yes.
now my vision is to to get other people involved to help me
Yes.
expose them with what we have already.
Yes. Well,
Yes.
if one day you need some help, I'm ready to come and help you.
You are most welcome.
Thank you. So, how do you prepare the performance? Who is taking care about the costumes during performance?
That's all me. So
But you
I actually
need someone who
own a
can prepare the costumes.
yeah, no, I've got a lady that is brilliant in South Africa.
Yes,
She makes all my costumes for me every year.
yes.
And then I hire it out to the parents. And at this stage, I've got like a small warehouse full of stock.
Wow.
Tutus, anything you need, I have. Even my props, I make the props myself and I store them and I reuse them. And it's like my own personal collection. I'm building my own theater on the side.
You have like
Um,
a big shop at home of costumes,
yes,
a big store.
yes. So every year let's say, like this year, we've got over 140 students.
Good.
Um, then I have to give each child about 3, 4 choreographies, dances, and then that means I have to go to the design board, design their costumes, send it to the lady that makes it for me, and then it takes her about 4 to 5 months to prepare over
Wow.
200 costumes for me.
Wow.
And then by the week before the show, we do dress rehearsals, we fix everything up, and then it's showtime. And all of that I do by myself, Sean. So that's why I'm saying I need help eventually because it's getting a lot.
Yeah. Do you give any classes about makeup, stage makeup, how to do the stage makeup?
I do. So when I like my dad and my mom's, they call me the what? They always say, you just never stop. You're ready to learn and go and teach something. So when I was younger, I actually went for makeup courses. And um, yeah, that's how I learned. I did like small courses in the makeup industry, stage makeup, and I taught myself, and now I'm teaching my students.
But it's
Yeah,
okay. It's okay. So I was saying your students are very lucky to have a multidisciplinary teacher who knows so many things and who can teach so many things. it is rare to find
Yeah, I
one
try.
teacher all, who teach all this. So,
Yes.
how do your students respond with you as a teacher? Uh, do they ask you advices? Do they ask you when they don't understand something? Do they tell you, Nadia, I didn't understand that. Can you explain it again? Or they are a little bit shy, a little bit scared to ask?
So I think my students have a very strong connection towards me.
Mm,
They are not shy.
mhm.
They trust me so much.
Okay.
They are always asking questions. We even have a small WhatsApp group for the bigger advanced girls
Okay.
that we will share. I'll take videos in class, correct them on technical work. Um, I'm always talking to them and they're always responding and they're always asking questions and they're always wanting to push beyond boundaries.
Good. So they are
Because I
now
feel
they are not scared to talk with you. I mean, they
not at all, not at all. I feel like the ballet studio is the safe haven for 90% of my students.
yes,
So they come and they can be their fully self and they love it. I have kids here even from so South Africa is big or Gauteng is big, and obviously you've been here, so you know.
yes.
I've got kids traveling from Johannesburg to Pretoria on a Saturday just to come to my classes
Good, good.
because the child refuses to go to another school.
So on Saturday
And
you start at what time your day?
we start at 8 a.m. in the morning
Okay.
and then we
The little one,
finish,
with the little one.
yeah,
Okay.
the little ones starting at 8. And then around 3 to 4 o'clock, I finish the day.
It's quite a long day. So you must be
It's a
exhausted.
long day.
You must be
Yes, like
exhausted.
today. Today I didn't teach drama. We finished at 2 o'clock.
Yes.
So here I am. I'm still fresh. I think I've got more energy than the kids.
So when we will end up the interview, you can send, if you wish, your link and your interview to the State Theatre Administration
Okay.
and also to your students because it
Yes, I will.
because they need to hear you talk during an interview. And I would be very pleased that your students can discover, they already discovered you, how you are during class, but you
Yes.
have been laying out so many topics about ballet, about drama, about many things that maybe your students are not aware of.
Yeah.
What are your future dreams? Now you are how old? How old are you? 32, 31?
I'm 31.
You are very young. So how are
I'm very young.
yeah, what are your dreams when you will be something like 45, 50? What would you like to
Yeah.
see at the State Theatre? What would you like to see to develop in the next 2, 3 decades?
So at this point, my mind is everywhere, John. So I'm planning on opening a TV agency as well. I'm on the bridge of doing that because I want to not only expose them to the world of theater, but to the whole entertainment industry
Mhm.
so that they can be skilled in dance, drama, music, everything you need to actually cope out there today.
Mm.
But for my vision for the theater is that it finally evolves into a production house for kids,
Yes.
so that kids can come and get proper education while being put out on the raw stage and learning from a young age
Yeah.
how to do this professionally. So
Yeah.
that when they do get to the age of now I have to work and earn a living, they are so skilled and already adjusted to the world of theater that it's a second nature for them. So
So
that's my vision.
this is your vision. So let me say something to the audience. In 1982, when I was working with Pact Ballet, those were the most heavenly, beautiful years of my life because I was very young. And we were all working at the State Theatre where Mr. Naude is teaching now. And there are on the fourth floor, if I'm not wrong, two
Yes.
ballet studios. And there is one who is next to the elevator, the restaurant and canteen. And there is
Yes.
another one that you have to walk all along corridor with windows, and that is the second ballet studio that were used at that time for the boys' class. Now, I think that you are using that second ballet studio
Yes, I'm using, it's now called 4A.
for A.
4A.
And the other one, how do you call it?
There's actually John, four studios, rehearsal studios.
Yes.
Um, they're all ballet studios, but the one is so you get 4A, D, E, and G.
Oh,
So the one where the girls were probably 4G,
ah.
and the one where the boys were is probably 4A.
So you see, you have enough space to develop
Yeah,
the academic
school.
school. I mean, you can teach at the same time and give full classes.
That's right.
That would be wonderful. It would be, if the thing is well developed, if you think about it, it could become like the ballet school of Nanterre, or the Opera of Paris.
That's right.
Slowly, slowly, you can develop
Yeah.
something similar, not exactly the same, but something similar. Why not?
Yeah.
It would be a great.
The theater is designed for it. The theater has all the the capacity and what do you call it? All the everything you need to
All the
run a proper
facilities,
school
yes.
and a theater is there in the state theater.
You know, for children to learn a ballet or dance or whatever, and to study all this inside a theater is
Yeah,
completely different than learning in a ballet school
that's right.
because they have more chance to get familiar.
That's right.
They will not have a shock when they will go on stage
That's right.
because the stage makes already part of their soul. Well,
And it honestly does. These
yes,
kids, they go out on the stage because during their break times, they are inside the theater,
yeah,
dwelling around. They go down. I don't know if you've ever been in the theater when you go to the -2 floor,
yes,
it's a whole prop department
yes,
and backstage department. And these kids, it's second nature for them. They see it every day.
yeah,
So every weekend when they come to class, they're seeing artists come in and out,
yes,
and
yes,
they walk past the dressing rooms.
yes,
They're so familiar with the space that when their show comes, it's nothing.
yes. And what do you think about this idea in case you have students that they realize that they, they will maybe not succeed in to become professional dancer?
Yeah.
Why not giving them the opportunity to them and to learn how to prepare the stage sets, the design, to become teacher, to
Yeah,
how to prepare and sketch the costumes, because maybe this could develop other new branches, you know, next to
yeah,
the teaching of ballet. Instead of saying to a student, no, you cannot dance, finish, bye bye, just go away.
yeah.
Which
So
it's
no, I don't actually do that. I teach them in drama classes,
yes,
stage, production, management, makeup,
yes,
costume, hair, all those things. So they are not only exposed to the physical form of artists
good, good,
performing arts, but also behind the scenes.
yes,
And before a show, I would take them through the theater and explain to them from this dressing room, you're going to go here. And
yes,
this is how this section of the theater works. And
yes,
this is where we put up the lights. And
yes,
this is where we store the props.
yes,
And this is how we prepare this show for you.
yes,
And this is all happening behind the scenes.
good, good,
And then I would obviously teach them about managing the show,
yes,
doing marketing for the show.
yes,
Now everything is social media, Facebook, Instagram.
yes,
So we're using those tools. They are actually using those tools to expose their artistic
yes,
things.
yes,
So they are also learning other skills to market themselves for their own shows.
yes,
And this creates another skill for them.
good.
So, yeah,
And
we're having
uh,
fun.
what what do you think about the idea if one day, I'm talking about the more advanced one,
Yeah,
you just call them and you tell them, look, I'm giving you this piece of music and I would like to see in a couple of weeks if you are able to do your own choreography as a group. And you create your own steps, you create your own
yeah,
ideas with that piece of music. And you let them work for 3 weeks. And then you just turn the head on the other side, and then when they are ready, they come to you and they do the choreography. And you see, this might give them another new input, to work all together and
yeah.
to create something because they know maybe that they will have the chance to perform that choreography.
So it's so funny that you're mentioning this because this year, um, in January in our country, schools, I think anywhere in the world, schools opened now recently.
Yes.
So most of my advanced schools started now, and all the younger kids will start next month.
Mm,
Right. So the last 3 weeks, I've actually been telling them to create their own choreography solos.
good.
Then I will choose the best solos for the upcoming event and production.
Yeah.
And I promise you, it puts the child's mind in another place
Completely.
to prepare, go and do their own research, go and do their own choreography, get their own music. It broadens their mind so much that today, actually, at class, I was shocked at what these kids come up with and how they use previous work. Obviously, you're building a foundation here, but that they can go back and use old choreography in new choreography and be creative. So,
Yeah.
yes, I let them do that.
Good. Good. Um, I think this is a very good idea because youth today, they need
Mhm.
to feel and to have more freedom.
That's right.
And the only key of freedom is dance,
Yeah,
movement,
yeah,
to get involved into new projects, artistic projects,
that's
get
right.
involved to music, to get involved to new steps, new ideas. And with the years, a child develops more and more and more its own inner soul capacities to
That's
develop
right.
better and better and better. So your teaching is a great support to all this
Yeah.
because it matches well with their idea, your students, and with yours as well.
Yes,
So putting all together, you can all create something good because
that's right.
if you work on your own, only on your own, the students will only be dancers, but they
That's right.
will become much stronger with their own ideas, their own
Yes.
technique, their own choreography, their own, and this is a good thing that you are doing.
Thank you. I wish I wish my teacher was still, and she's still alive. I wish she was still in the country because I think that Slew had the same vision I had or have. And
In case you find your teacher, would you propose her to come and work at the State Theatre with you?
yes, definitely. In fact, John, I would if I know you're a good coach and you're a good ballet teacher and you have the vision, I would actually open it up to anyone as long as I can trust that person with my baby
Yes.
because these kids trust me with their lives, their dreams, and not only the kids, but these parents, they put a lot of trust, money, and faith into me growing and building their kids because the world is tough out there. So I'm gonna do it Russian style.
Well, you never know. You know, your interview will be broadcasted for cultural purpose on
Yeah.
YouTube. And you never know, maybe one day there could be people who will contact you and they will tell you, Mr. Nodier,
Mm.
we heard you in the interview. We would like to come and collaborate with you to develop something for South Africa. You never
Yeah.
know. You never
Yeah.
know. But, of course, the final choice comes to you,
Yeah.
to who, as you said, to who you are choosing to collaborate with you. Because you
That's right.
cannot take anyone who comes and knock your door and say, I would like to teach. Well, yes, okay, but you must show me what you can teach. How
That's right.
is your idea? How is your criteria? How you talk to the students? How you behave in front of the students? There are many things with other ballet teachers that you have to check before. Even if you have the first ballerina working in a theater, but that doesn't mean that she will be able to teach,
No.
because teaching is completely different from dancing.
Yes.
You dedicate your all yourself in teaching,
Right.
and there are other people who dedicate all themselves for dancing. But
That's
sometimes
right.
it's very difficult that one person can do dancing and teaching at the same time.
Yeah, I tried that. I couldn't. That's
No.
why I left. I mean, the school grew so much that I had to make a choice. Do I want to be on stage or teach kids to be on stage?
Once
So
I
I
made
hear you.
once I made an audition in Italy at the Arena of Verona, and there was a ballet teacher. She was coming from France, but I think originally she was from Russia. Her name was Tatiana Grentseva. And
Mm,
so that day when I traveled, I'm talking about many years ago, I traveled, I arrived to Verona, but I had fever, about something like 38. I had a flu, terrible flu. So I went to her before the audition and I said, look, I prefer to stop, to not do the class because I'm not feeling well. I have fever. So she told me, look, Jean-Pierre, you do what you can. I will understand, but you try, you do it. And whenever you feel bad during class, you just stop. So I did the class, but of course I wasn't in the, physical shape to do,
Fully capable of
yeah,
doing
fully capable.
100%.
And I missed, of course, I missed the audition. I was a disaster in the audition. So after class, she told me, okay, you wait a second and we are going to talk. So she asked me, what are your future projects? At that time, I was only 22. I
Wow.
was very young. I was coming from South Africa. And so she told me, look, Jean-Pierre, if one day you want to teach, of course, you have to build up your teaching system, your syllabus, and everything that your teachers have been teaching you. Uh,
Yeah,
but you cannot, you have to choose. Or you dance, or you teach. But you cannot do the two things together.
yeah,
Because otherwise you will spoil the two together.
yeah.
And so this is why I agree with you, because you have decided to dedicate yourself in teaching when you were
That's right.
young, and thanks to your Russian ballet teacher. I mean, if you are able to do all this, it is thanks to your teacher.
No, of course. It's definitely thanks to her and all the many, many other teachers that have put time and effort into me
Yes.
and personal time invested in me.
Yes. Imagine if instead of having one Russian teacher, you were studying at the Mariinsky Theater with
Yeah,
plenty of ballet teachers, Russian ballet teacher. Today you would
yeah,
have been one of the greatest stars of
that's
dance
right.
with all the skills that you have.
Yeah.
So when you have a student who comes and tell you, Mr. Nodier, I'm sorry, but today I'm not feeling well. Can I forget about the class? How do you react?
I totally don't react. If we are busy with rehearsals, they'll get a full on Zander going mad version. But if there's no rehearsals, um, I don't pressure the child. And I think that's why most of these kids, they feel safe and they really enjoy my classes. They never really do stay away. They always pitch up.
Good.
I know that these parents always complain.
Mhm.
Um, I'm always laughing at them saying, we don't know what you're doing to our kids, but they just never want to stay away. They always want to come. Um, but I think it's the passion and the love and the way I become a child with them
Mm,
and the way that they can always trust me and just be themselves around me makes the space feel homey and just welcome. So yes, in cases where they can't make it and they are sick, I totally understand. But if we are busy with rehearsals and we only have a few weeks left and now you come with excuses, I freak out. Because I'm also a perfectionist.
yeah,
I mean, I have to manage everything from the set design, the costumes, the choreography.
yeah,
Maintaining all these kids in one space alone is another story.
yeah.
Um, and I'm so grateful for my family because my family, I've got five sisters and a brother, and my mom and everyone would come in and bring their friends, and we would all build a team when I do my shows,
Good,
and they all help me to manage all the kids. So I'm truly blessed.
good, good. Um, and does your sisters and your brother do ballet also?
No, so my stepmother, she was a prima ballerina,
Mhm.
and she actually introduced me to ballet. Um,
So,
she would have all her pictures up on the wall and all her
what
class.
I may ask, what is the name of your stepmother?
Charmaine Nordia.
She was dancing with Pact Ballet or Cape Town?
No, she was with Joey. I can't remember the surname, but she just got her she was it's a sad story. So she was in her advanced two
Yes.
class exam, and when she was doing point and she jumped from a fifth, her knee popped out,
Oi.
and she was unable to finish her exam that day. And unfortunately, she did not continue. So, but thanks to her and her dreams, she passed it on to me and introduced ballet to me, which my mother and my father, they know nothing about. So it was all thanks to her that introduced me to dance.
And also Destiny have been choosing you as a future artist.
Yeah, and the amazing thing last year, I met amazing people, and they just said, you know what, we want, so in South Africa, we've got Afrikaans movies and
Yes,
um, artistic festivals.
yes,
So the one group, or what do you call them? Like a stage production, they reached out to me and said, can you please manage and do our set design for us? And I learned so much in that world, in film and stage, and how to build a set, how to manage it. And I did even a little bit of directing
yeah.
in between. And all thanks to my experience at the theater, I could take that to the professional world and go and work on a professional production,
Yes.
which was totally just like opened my vision up even more for my school.
Yes, because what you have been learning in movies,
Yes,
you are adapting the same, nearly the same in for your performances.
that's right.
That
So
is
I'm
one
just
of
going all over the place, Sean. I'm
the
trying to learn here, do that.
But
Just
this is the only way that you will become a great artist. You are already
that's
a great
right.
artist, but you will
That's right.
become more and more and more and more. You have plenty of time in front of you, but time flows quickly, unfortunately, too quickly.
Yes.
But you will become an important figure of South African ballet and art. That is for sure, I am sure. And Mr. Nodier, we have reached the end of our interview. Is there anything that you would like to express coming from your heart to your students, to the young generation who are watching you, and
Yeah.
all the young people in South Africa who they don't even know your name?
Yeah.
What is your message?
My message would be never to stop, to always believe that no matter what mountain comes in your way, that you can climb it, you can overcome it, and you can actually achieve greater, more bigger things than your mind can ever allow you to think. Um, Never let small experiences not get your mind on the bigger visions, you know? And to my students, I mean, every one of them for the last few years have made such an impact on me. They've completely changed me as a human. as an artist, as someone who thinks artistically. I couldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for them, because every child makes an impact and leaves a mark on you. And it just sets you up for the next generation and the next audience and the next children that's going to come. And I'm so grateful. And I'm also excited to work with new people, new artists, and yeah, just broaden everything up even more.
Good. And
And thank you for having me on your channel. I really appreciate it.
it's a great honor for me to have you in this interview because my aim is to show to the audience, to the people of Ballet International, because there are plenty of choreographers, teachers, to never
Yeah,
underestimate, I repeat, to never underestimate the art and the young people and the dance and the artistic level of South Africa. Because
yes, of
South
course.
Africa is a little bit forgotten by many countries. And
We do feel forgotten.
yes, but I'm sure that the beautiful things in South Africa, thanks to people like you, will rise again. And
Yeah,
from a little, like what you're doing is like a little seed, you know, that you are every day you put some water, some water, some water.
yeah.
One day will grow up like a beautiful tree. Now, this is what you are doing now, and it will remain as a strong tree for the decades and decades and decades. So,
Thank you so much.
and I'm really happy to see because there is a great difference between you and me, and as me, there are also other packed ballet people, but it is nice to hear young people like Mr. Nodier talk in this way and have all this positive energy that he is building in his work with young generation. So, and also, I encourage the students, the parents of your students to, to help you to develop more and more and create something beautiful. Because after all, South Africa, having people like you, and probably there are many like you who would like to create beautiful things, South
Yeah,
Africa government should be jealous of keeping these artists for them.
that's right.
It's not every day that we find people like you, from like many others, like Expact Ballet and all this, that have been giving a great prestige, you know, something really special. It's
It
not
is.
it's not only South Africa is full of diamonds, but the real diamond is what? It's people like you. It's not
Yeah,
a diamond that you buy in the shop.
no. It's a rare diamond.
Yes.
Very rare.
So, Mr. Nodier, thanks once again. We keep in touch.
Yes,
We never
please.
know. And I would like to thank you for this wonderful interview. And I hope one day shall be able to meet and
I
talk
hope so too.
about many projects. I
I
am
hope so too.
I'm not young, but I am like a volcano of ideas, and
I
maybe
love that.
maybe those ideas could bring something good for you and for South Africa. We never know.
We never know.
And ladies and gentlemen of Ballet International, I wish to thank you for watching this interview. And a little reminder that this interview, like many others, the interviews are to highlight, yes, the artist who is speaking, but also to preserve the beauty of the art. Each one can talk, each one can present their own project during an interview, like he did Mr. Naude. So everyone is invited who would like to talk about art, about the problems, about everything, is highly welcomed. Okay, so thank you again. You stay online for the little moment.